Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Drive-Thru. I'm your host, Tony T. As we broadcast live here on Pick Dogs and Sports Chat Place YouTube channel and throughout social media. We're going to get you out of here well before the top of the hour. Give you guys enough time to get those bets in for the primetime games. That's what we do here on the Drive-Thru Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. It's delivered live free sports picks for the games beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern Time and later. And to deliver those winners, our professional handicappers over at Pick Dogs and Sports Chat Place. Let's take a peek at who's on the show with us for today. All right, Brian Bitler sporting that Phillies cap. James Clark and Jovan will be signing a little bit later. Jay Briggs hoisting that Texas Rangers cap. Are we headed for Phillies Rangers? We'll see if that's the case. I'm sure there'll be a little behind-the-scenes wager if that's the case. Brad Francis and Nick Menken now out there in the Phoenix area will be. He's just a Cub fan. He's not part of that wager. All right, here's how the lineup for this evening. We got Briggs, Francis, Burts, Bitler, Clark, Menken, then I will close this one out. All right, college football and a few NHL games on the board. So heading a big weekend, right? We're going to start the championship series, NLAL, during the weekend. Also, NFL, college football, big weekends as well. And hockey. Don't forget the hockey. We're still about a week and a half away from NBA. We do have some NBA preseason on the board, and we'll have some coverage there. Let's get this one underway. Let's welcome in Jay Briggs. We'll catch him over at Pick Dogs Pim. We'll bring him in right now, covering his least of the favorite teams in Texas. Bring him in right now. Jay, what's happening?
Tony T, what's happening?
What's going on, Jay? All right, here we go. We're going to go into some Saturday action here, limited card, as you know, and you guys won't mind that because you guys are all over this college football. CBS, it's the main game on CBS. Tennessee to host Texas A&M. We see A&M here are going to be dogs. Tennessee favorite 3, total 55.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a hell of a game between two teams that both really need this game in order to solidify their season. And when I look at this game, this is the conclusion I came to. As you guys know, we usually run down college football, me and Tony T, on Fridays. And many times I tell you how much I dislike this A&M team, how much this team is usually not as good as advertised. But in this game here, I'm actually going to take them for a change. I like them plus the 3. I might even take them straight up on the money line. When I look at their schedule, I just think they're more battle-tested for these big games, more so than Tennessee. Tennessee, we've seen them play, I would say, two good teams. Florida on the road, we know how that ended. Lost that game, really weren't even competitive in a game they should have won. And then South Carolina, they beat up this past week at home. But when I go look at A&M, granted they have 2 losses. I understand Alabama and Miami, but those are 2 really good teams. I think both of those teams would beat Tennessee as well, beat Auburn, beat Arkansas. I just think that the body of work for A&M is there. I see them competing here. I know it's on the road, it's a tough venue, but I think Jimbo Fisher's the better coach. I think that these 2 teams are very similar when it comes to talent and getting plus money with the A&M team on the road against a Tennessee team who we just know falls flats in big games as well. I'm going to take my chances with A&M on the road in this one.
All right, we got Jay here takes A&M here on the road, plus the 3 here against Tennessee. This will be the second true road game here for A&M, and you know how the first one ended up. I think this is probably why we see the minus there on the Tennessee side, is because they were pounded here by Miami, 48-33. That was some time ago, but they gave 374 yards passing there to that Miami team. I think that's a concern here. When you kind of look at here at Tennessee, they were crushed in Florida, though, and Florida ran all over them.
Yeah, Florida was able to do just about whatever they wanted. And I kind of have a feeling that A&M, a team that has the same talent level as Tennessee and Florida, will kind of be able to do the same. The thing is, we just haven't seen Tennessee play another team of that quality of Florida, and I don't think Florida's even that good. I think Tennessee knew what they were doing, scheduling to begin their season to hold on to their ranking. But I think A&M's the better football team, and I can see Tennessee falling to 4-2, and A&M probably sneaking back into the rankings 25 after this week.
All right, then we got Jay here on A&M. Let's try to see when we get to some of these Texas teams that we go through here. The 49 games here. Here we go. Here's a competitive one here on FS1 here. Kansas State and Texas Tech will be going head-to-head here. Texas Tech laying a point here, total 57.5.
Yeah, I'm going to take Texas Tech at the crib in this one. This team just plays better at home. When you just look at these two teams, Kansas State, their 2 losses are on the road. Oklahoma State, that's a team that I don't think is, top tier in college football, and their other loss, Mizzou, on the road. I know they lost on a 80-yard field goal, it felt like, but they still lost on the road. That's their 2 losses. Texas Tech at home has been solid. Beat up on Houston, competed with Oregon. It was 38-30. I think Oregon is really good. This Texas Tech team has been really solid at home. They're both their losses. The other loss was on the road to West Virginia. I expect Texas Tech to be the better team. Tough venue. I think they get the dub at home.
All right, like this. I'm with you there with Texas Tech at home in this one. Monroe just got boat raced last week. Texas State laying 17. Their defense isn't the greatest.
Yeah, Texas State is the much better football team. Texas State is going to put up a bundle of points, just like who ULM played last week?
South Alabama, I think.
South Alabama.
Yeah, they got crushed.
55-7.
Yeah,
I think Texas State can put up the same amount of points, but just like you said, the problem is Texas State defense is just as bad. So over for me in this one.
Yeah,
64.5. Y'all see it's damn near 70 points. I think we get to 70 points in this one. I'm gonna take the over.
Yeah, UL Monroe put 40 on App State, so I think that's why we're looking at possibly that high scoring game here. We'll continue to look here. There's a few more teams from the state of Texas in action. One here. This could be an interesting one here because UAB they're getting good quarterback play. They got the former NFL quarterback here as a head coach, so it's pretty much an all offense team. Defense sucks, but the quarterback's putting up big numbers against UTSA. UTSA getting a little healthier, getting some wins here. They're laying 9 here, total 67.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab the points with Trent Dilfer in this UAB team. I just think this is another high-scoring back-and-forth game. I don't trust the defense for UTSA. We saw Temple give them 34. Tennessee really ran up the score on them. Even Army put up 37. This is I know they held Texas State to 13, which is kind of surprising. But that was early in the season. As the season has progressed, their defense is getting worse and worse as their depth gets worse and worse. I think UAB can score with them. I think this is UTSA probably wins by like 6 points. I'm going to grab him there with UAB.
All right, he said grab him there with UAB here. And we'll continue to go here. Actually, we go up to the top of the card here because we got an early start here from college football as we look here at this one. We got, looks like we're going to have, let's go back to the early start here. Temple, the poor Owls, and Brian Bitler, I don't know if he's still on us. He's struggling with his Owls team against North Texas. We're going to see some defense from this team. I think last week they were kind of low scoring. They're laying 6.5 against Temple.
Yeah, I was looking at this game. This is an interesting one here because I believe in North Texas' offense. This is an offense that can put up points with some of the best teams in the league, but same concern I have about a lot of these Texas teams is their defense. I don't know why the defenders in Texas like to go other places, and the offensive players like to stay in the state, but that's the case. We've seen Temple put up a lot of points on UTSA, Tulsa. I think they can score enough to keep this game competitive. I would look at an over in this one as well, and I would probably grab the points with Temple.
All right, there you go. We covered the state of Texas there for you here with Jay on the Friday state of Texas rundown from college football because he's got NFL, he's NBA, but here on Friday we get the state of Texas coverage here from Jay. All right, Jay, of course, we did announce Montgomery there in game 1 here against Verlander.
Yes, sir. I cannot wait for that one, man. It's going to be an all-out showdown. Montgomery has looked good in the postseason. He's given the Rangers all he had, and we'll see. We'll see.
All right. We'll see how that rolls. I'm looking forward to it. All right, Jay, let's take a look over at Pick Dodge for action here tonight. We know we got college football on the board, some in the ice, but it's going to be a huge weekend here. College football, NFL coming up again as well. We're still a week and a half away from NBA. There's still some preseason action going on. What do you have going on over at the site?
Hey, that's all I have tonight is one NBA preseason game. If you guys want to watch some NBA preseason tonight, I got a play up there for $19. You can scoop it up. I think we make some money tonight in the NBA preseason. I know college football, no hockey for me tonight. I know the Colorado Buffaloes are playing a team that I've been very vocal about this year. I think that I know somebody else is going to talk about this game, and I'm probably going to agree with them. I just think that the line is a little high. I think the line should be 9.5, 10. I think there's a Dion tax applied to it. I'm not saying that they don't go out there and win by 2 touchdowns. It's just the books know what they're doing, and I don't. I'd rather watch that.
I got you there. I agree with you 100%. The Dion tax, stay away from it, man. Be careful when you're laying those big points here in this spot, especially against a team there with a bye week coming in. All right, Jay, have yourself a great weekend. We'll catch up with you next week. But, of course, we can catch up with you here, during the Sunday afternoons and Sunday Night Football. We've got the halftime shows, also the morning show for this weekend coming up, an NFL rundown video.
Yep, ton of content for me coming up. The NFL Rundown probably is going to get posted tonight. I got a busy weekend coming up, my birthday weekend. So hosting the morning show and the show with Kyle Kerms, of course, tomorrow, Saturday. Sunday, hosting the NFL show. Halftime with Mitch in the early one. Probably won't be there for the late one. Probably going to go to the watch party for the Rangers, Astros. So probably going to miss that one. But I'll be back Monday night on the halftime show with Money Man Mitch for Cowboys Chargers. So we're not going to miss nothing Sunday night. It's the Giants and it's Tyrod Taylor.
That's right. You can always bring your phone over and get that watch party. Get it some,
Hey, I might. You never know. I might pop in on that voice.
Yeah, you've done that before. We've seen you pop in when you're in a Ranger game. We just couldn't get you on time. All right, Jay. Have a great night. We'll catch up with you on the weekend. Next week.
Yes, sir. Tony T. I'll see you on Monday.
You got it. Jay Briggs here on the drive, dude. Let's continue on. Up next, we're going to go here to Brad Francis. More college football coverage here. Catch him over at Pick Dog Stream. Hope you're catching this video series here with that parlay video of the day. We'll bring him in right now. Ready to roll with Brad. Brad, what's happening?
Hey, what's up, Tony? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you as well out there. We're going up to the Pac-12 with you here at 3 Eastern time as California. We'll see how they can do on the road here against Utah. We're going to be laying 10.5 here, total 43.5. And there are some 44s out there in the market.
Yes, sir. Yep. And we're going to look at the total here, and we're going to go with the under. With Cam Rising not playing yet this season, this Utah team has just really had to rely on their defense to win games. And it's been doing a good job, man. I mean, they ranked 13th in total defense in the league, averaging allowing 282.6 yards per game, and third in rush defense, allowing just 67 yards per game on the ground, which is very impressive. They held Florida to 11 points. They held Baylor to 13 points. And Utah, this is one of the toughest places to play in the country. They just don't lose at home. So Tony, I honestly just don't see Cal producing much offense at all in this game. The under is also 5-0 in Utah games this season. So loving that angle there. And I also don't expect Utah to light up the scoreboard either. With Cam Rising out, they know their path to success is not getting into a shootout. I expect a 24-13 type game in this one. So give me the under.
All right, Brad here says under 44. You can find 44. Sharpest book in the world has just moved that line to 43.5. So some sharp money coming here on the under. You can understand that. You saw that score here against UCLA, 14-7. I think there might have even been a defensive score in that game. And of course, Florida didn't have much success there in Utah. Utah's a hard place to play. It's pretty much going to be run the football. They're basically going to use their offensive line and defensive lines and win the game.
Exactly. And I don't know, man. Well, what do you think Vegas is thinking with this number? I thought this would have been closer to 39 personally. That's what I would have handicapped it. Where do you think the points come from here? What do you think Vegas is thinking?
Well,
I can't see it. I don't know where the points are coming from.
Yeah, I think they see a softness a little bit in California's defense. Maybe Utah can punch in a little bit more scores. Maybe they're giving UCLA and Florida a little, basically rating their defense higher than California. California was in a Wilcox defensive style coach, but they've given up a lot of points in their games in conference. When we take a look here at California, they gave up. Let's take a look here because they were in some high scoring games here. But losing 59-32 at Washington last week at home, losing 52-40 to Oregon State. So there you go. Arizona State, they get by, but 24-21, but they did give up 21 points to Arizona State. So I think what they're looking at here is this Cal defense may crack here with the running game. I mean, if Utah averages 5-6 yards to carry on the ground, they're going to get some touchdowns in this game.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I just don't think it's enough to reach this number. And, I mean, Oregon State and Washington are really good offenses. I don't think Utah has the same caliber of offense. So, I don't know. Overall, I just think this number's a tad bit high. I think it's a great spot to take the under.
Yeah, and of course that game at Washington, a lot of turnovers there, punt return. You know, they got boat raced really early in that game. It was a huge blowout at halftime, and of course, again, the garbage points came here from California at the end. I don't think they'll get that opportunity with Utah. I don't think Utah likes to give up points, period, even if they're up.
Exactly. Nope, I totally agree with you there.
Yep. So actually, Cal almost covered that 20-point spread there at the end. So even though they were just getting boat raced from the get-go. But here we go. Cal, Utah, under 44. This one to have a start time here of 3 p.m. Eastern time. Any thoughts on Florida State? That's your team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm loving how the season's going so far. When it comes to this weekend's game, I'm going to stay away from it, but I do like us to cover 18.5. I can see us winning by at least 20 there. But like I said, it's a stay away game for me. But at home, they should be able to get the job done relatively easy.
All right, there you go from Brad Francis from that Florida State Seminoles.
How do you like Florida State so far? You think we got a chance to bring it home?
Yeah, I mean, I was always worried, you know, whenever we got that coaching change back in the years. What went south for Florida State was their pass defense, because they used to have the best pass coverage I've seen in college football, but it certainly deteriorated over the years, and that's why they got caught up in all these shootouts, needing their offense to outscore opponents. But if they get that, when they're able to defend well in the secondary, that's when they're at their best.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, and I mean, we're not at that point where we were, let's say like a decade ago, but our defense has picked it up from the last few years, which has definitely helped us with our success here.
Yeah, we weren't used to seeing the days when they're going up 300 yards passing. You didn't see that. I mean, that was the whole thing. They were promoting corners and safeties into the NFL. Defensive linemen, the defensive guys were going into the NFL, and then we saw a big drop off there defensively with that team. But there we go with the under here from Brad for the game here on Saturday, 3 Eastern time. That one you can find on Pac-12 Network. All right, Brad, let's take a look over at Pick Dodge Premium here for tonight. We got a few games here from college football, some games on the ice as well. Heading to a huge weekend here. We're going to have college football, NFL, NHL. Of course, the baseball playoffs will begin here in the weekend. Great start to the NFL, 611 units of profit. What do you have going on over at Pick Dogs Premium?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I just got my best play in college football tonight. I'm going to keep it light tonight. The slate was just decent for me, but I do got one play that I absolutely love. And then tomorrow, I'm getting locked and loaded, already thrown in picks. So expect, I would say, 8 college football picks to 10 college football picks, and then we'll have a full slate of NFL games, which has been my sport so far this year. So we always say it's a great time to hop on that 3-day pass and let's make some money.
Make some money indeed. Get on board with Brad Francis over at Pick Dogs Premium. You see the great start here from the NFL. Long-term pass will serve you. A lot of you guys like that 3-day pass. Get all of a 3-day premium plays here from Brad covering college football, NFL, and more. With that 3-day pass, pick as a promo code. Save that 15% off. All right, Brad, as always, great having the show. Continue that great success. We'll catch up with you next week. But let everybody know we can catch a video series over at Pick Dogs.
Yes, sir. Dropping the parlay videos every day. Appreciate everyone who's been watching those. So, yeah, check those out. They're always before the game, during the nighttime, before the day the game starts during the nighttime. So be sure to check those out. And, yeah, like I said before, let's just try to make this money, man. That's the goal.
That's it. Make some money, guys. Like, subscribe, set notifications so when Brad's videos drop, you get them right away. Get the best numbers. All right, Brad. Have a great weekend. We'll catch up with you next week.
All right. Thank you, Tony. Have a good weekend.
You as well. Brad Francis here on the drive through. Let's continue on. Up next, let's bring him in. Jovan Burts. Catch him over at Pick Dogs Premium. He's been good to us here on the drive through. We'll set him up here. Let's see. Hopefully he signed in. Said he was signing in a little late. Let's see if we get him. If not, we'll go to the next. But we'll see. We've got Jovan ready to roll here tonight. We don't have Jovan yet, so Jovan said he was running a little bit late, so we'll catch him back up to him in a little bit. Let's continue on. That means up next here. I got to change the graphic here, but we'll do that on the fly here with Brian Bitler. Catch him over at Pick Dog Spin. Bring him in right now. Brian, what's happening?
That's the one thing about the drive-through. You always got to be ready to go. You can't be, messing around. You got to be ready at all times. And,
yep.
Definitely started heating up yesterday, 3-0 on hope that I'm out of September funk. Hopefully it's over.
Off that funk, no doubt about that. Put up some good baseball numbers, but college football on the docket today. Look at where this one's moved, right? Colorado and Stanford here going head-to-head over on ESPN. Dion didn't like the start time. That's late in the East Coast. Well, that's what they do with Pac-12. You got to play after dark. And it's going to be a little chilly there in Colorado. Colorado here laying 12.5, the total up to 59.
I'll tell you what, I'm against Colorado a lot this season, not for really anything personal, no personal reason here. Just to me, too publicly backed, and they've just become the cool team to root for. And you got that Sanders here, and that's really never a good combination. They do have some things going for them on Friday. This is a must-have game for them on the schedule as it gets tougher down the stretch. Right now they have 4 wins and need 2 more to become bowl eligible. So really this is a must-have game for them Friday. But I just don't think this team is good enough on defense to stop anybody. I think if you're getting 10.5 or higher, you should be able to get the cover here with Stanford. Colorado covered last 3 in this series. But that gives us a better number here. I'm going to take the Stanford Cardinal. I'm going to take Stanford here plus the points. I think it's a 10-point game.
All right, we got Brian here on Stanford plus 12.5 here against Colorado. Of course, you've got these the Stanford coming off the bye. Very academic school. These players are very attentive, and I think you will see some bounce from them off the bye week. That's interesting. You notice here with Stanford, they usually get a little better as the season goes, especially when they have down teams. Very inexperienced team. Only 7 players they are able to capture from the transfer portal because of their high academic standards, but they are a disciplined team. Colorado, the short week. Stanford coming off the bye. I think that definitely. I think you can definitely make that case there on the Stanford side. A lot of things falling together here for them. And their quarterback Ashton Daniels has been upgraded to probable here.
All those factors, it's nice having that extra pair. I know Stanford comes in ranked 239th in the country, but with that off, I think Stanford should. It all comes down to how many points Stanford can put on the board as far as covering this number. And when you look at Colorado's defense, I think they're going to let up enough points for us here to maybe sneak the backdoor cover. Maybe this touchdown's at the end. I just 14-point Colorado here.
Yeah, you saw that Colorado had that struggle there against Arizona State. Could not hold that 7-point lead late. A 94-yard drive by Arizona State there in the last few minutes to force that overtime. Boy, Dion was smoking hot after that. That really disappointed Dion if you've kind of followed his press conference, and it's hard not to because he's all over there. But indeed, he was not happy with that defensive performance. Although when you see some of the media, it seems more the emphasis seems to be more on the offense, and the defense doesn't seem to get a lot of emphasis there on some of the when you kind of look at their practice, because we get that view from all these cameras covering them.
You think that would be the opposite? The Colorado, the focus, usually when you have a defensive coach, the focus is more on defense. I think in the next few years, if he stays at Colorado, they'll improve on defense. But also in that game, what I loved about it, Colorado won, that's fine, but Arizona State got the cover. That's worried about. So good for them. They got the W. It worked out both ways there. That's
right. The Arizona State getting the cover there, 3.5-point game, the field goal, the late cover there, the field goal to win it. And Brian here on Stanford plus 12.5 against Colorado to start here, 10 Eastern time over on ESPN. All right, Brian, let's take a look over at Pick Document for tonight's action. Of course, we do have on the board tonight, we got 3 games here from college football, a few on the ice headed into as well, a big weekend in college football and NFL. Good results from Brian here when you check out the leaderboards and you see Brian's baseball has been on fire for this season. What do you have going on over at Pick Dogs Premium?
Oh, I'm starting to get out of my funk here. Like I said, 3-0 yesterday. Today, I actually have 3 premium picks. I know it's a small card, but a lot of stuff jumped off to me. I got my college football titanium play. You can get on over at pickdogs.com. Just $25 gets you that best bet winner. Also, tomorrow, my non-conference game of the year in college football. It happens in the evening. You got all day to get in on it. Plus, I have a no-limit play in college football. Should have another 3 plays added. So definitely want to check out pickdogs.com and maybe get a 3-day pass because I'll have a lot of football action this weekend.
A lot of football action, guys. Got over with Brian Bitler. He mentioned the 3-day pass. Great value there. All of Brian's premium plays for those 3 days. And Pick is a promo code. You'll save that 15% off. All right, Brian, as always, great having you on the show. Continue that success. We'll catch up with you again next week. But everybody can catch you as well on the weekends here on the channel.
Definitely going to be there tomorrow breaking down the big North Carolina-Miami Hurricanes game. I'm not sure. I know who I'm going to be on, but I'm not going to give it away here today. But I'll join the guys on Sunday as well for the NFL. Love hanging out with the Pick Dogs family on the morning show.
Absolutely, guys. So check us out there. All right, Brian, have yourself a great evening. We'll catch up with you again next week.
Tony, you have a good one. I'll catch you on Monday. Hopefully, I'll be freaking and red hot.
Yeah, exactly. Brian Bitler here on The Drive Thru. All right, let's continue our coverage here. Let's see if we can catch up with Jovan. If he's back, we'll see. Bring him in. Is he ready to roll? No, not yet. So he's still running a little late. So that means we're going to continue on here on the show and bring in James Clark, right? James Clark up next. Catch him over at Pick Dog's Room. We'll bring James in right now. Ready to roll here in just a second. I know his mountain. I hope we get over that Mountaineers loss, man. I was on him yesterday. It was not did not sit well with me yesterday at all. Again, I mean, what do you for playing patty cake in the end zone? I mean, what's going on?
I don't know, man. You knock the ball down. You don't tip the ball up in the air. And also, what is Green doing? I mean, I know you celebrate on, go over where the coaches and stuff at and celebrate. That killed us. That kickoff. I mean, we could have kicked it out of the end zone. They just two bad plays. I still thought we had it. Like I said, at the end, tipped it up in the air. They got a lucky catch, but really Green's the one that killed us. Hollering at the fans over in the touchdown and got that penalty. That really killed us. And then our defensive players, I mean, I don't know what Neil Brown's thinking anyways. You got a 6'8" tight end. Why ain't he back there? You know what I'm saying? Taller than everybody, probably jump. He should have been out there, I think. And you don't tip the ball up in the air like you were saying. You knock the ball down. So, bad play, heartbreaking loss because we definitely wanted to beat Hogerson more than we wanted to beat Houston. So, it's a bad, tough loss for West Virginia yesterday.
Yeah, it was a real bad loss there. And the kickoff, remember, these quarterbacks probably can throw 50 yards, but it's hard for them to throw 65 yards. You don't understand how those penalties impact a play like that because that ball probably lands around the 10-yard line, and you have a shot. Even if it's a crazy bounce, you have a shot to make the tackle.
Yeah. Like you said, if it's a tip, he gets tackled right there in front of the end zone, and if you don't have the penalty. Because, like you said, the quarterback can't not throw. Not many college quarterbacks can throw 70, 80 yards in the air, and that penalty absolutely killed us, and that's going to be a tough one to get over.
Yeah, there was a couple head scratchers definitely over the course of the week. We saw the Miami situation. You could have just kneeled to clock it. No, I mean, there's just a lot of bonehead plays, some with the coaching, some with the players. But again, the coaches should be telling these guys. Usually you see the coaches on the sideline going like this, right? Going like this, bat the ball. You see that, you didn't, right? And then it gets to the guy's head, right?
Yeah. I mean, you tell them before you go out there, here we go, guys. Last play, do or die. You knock it down, we win. You don't tip it up. And then with the Miami game, why ain't you taking a knee? I mean, you got the game won. Just knee it. Just take a knee. Why are you trying to run it when every defensive player there's going to be ripping and gripping at the ball, punching anything they can, knock that ball loose? That's what happened. You kneel it down and you win the ball game. Like West Virginia, you knock it down, you win the ball game. I mean, just bonehead plays. It's definitely tough being a Mountaineer fan. Yeah, we could have been 5-1, and we could be 5-1 and second in the Big East right now. I mean, I'm not the big second in the Big 12 right now. I'm thinking old school Big East.
Yeah. I mean, you're, and that was a conference game, so that's another one that was a tough one there, tough loss. But now we'll go over now. James, tonight ESPN2 has a doubleheader here, and this one will be Warriors and Lakers going head to head here with the Lakers here favored 2.5. We said total 228.5.
Guys, you look at these teams, and both of these teams got a lot of superstars on. I know it's preseason. They'll probably play halftime. It don't matter. Even the players that's playing tonight, this is a rivalry game. The Lakers don't like the Warriors. The Warriors don't like the Lakers. Both teams want to beat each other, and I think the depth of the Lakers is a lot deeper than the Warriors in this game, and we're getting the Lakers at -2.5. I think it's a gift, guys. I like the Lakers to win this game by 4 or more points. I do think it's going to be close, but I think they win by 4 or 5 points. I think the starters play first half, I think it'll be close, but I think the Lakers are a deeper team this year than the Warriors are. All the Warriors went and got Chris Paul. I mean, they picked up a couple other free agents, but look at the Lakers. The players that they picked up, man. Christian Woods, dude. I think he's the monster key to the Lakers' success this year. And, I see him playing a lot. I just really like the Lakers tonight at 2.5. Like I said, I think they're a deeper team. And I think the first half is close. And I think the Lakers run away with it in the second half.
Yeah, and also Cam Reddish was another acquisition. Yeah, the Lakers trying to get some shooters for this team, and people want to come out to L.A., and we're starting to see that. We talked about Hachimura last year when they got him. I thought that was a great deal, and he's there. Reeves, we're starting to see the Lakers do what they haven't done in years. That is develop talent around the superstars.
Yeah, a lot of times they try to go after these big hitters, like LeBron, the one of Damian Lillard. But some of these younger players, like the kid from Miami that they got, that's a good shooter that played awesome in the finals. Like I said earlier about Christian Woods picking him up, Cam Reddish, good young player. I mean, they got some talent without LeBron, without AD, without some of the starting players. This Lakers team is pretty deep. And I think it's going to be harder in the regular season to beat this team. I think it's even going to be harder in the playoffs. That's why, my favorite this year, as I said it last time we was on the show, is the Lakers to win the championship. And I think they will. I think they're a lot deeper team this year. I think it'll be the Lakers. I think it's going to be old school. I think you see the Lakers and the Celtics in the finals.
There you go. Look at old school there. Of course, interesting how the Warriors do with Chris Paul. Chris Paul likes to slow the tempo down. And we saw that in all his stops, right? So interesting to note here, not in so much in the preseason. When we get in the regular season, you got to kind of think. I'm kind of thinking under in some of these Warriors game with Chris Paul at the point.
I agree with you with the under. He's definitely going to slow the ball down. But, that's what the Warriors went. They wanted something that would change their pace, change how they played. Everybody's seen how they play. Shoot threes, rebound, try to defend, shoot threes. Now they got a guy that, bring the ball down the floor, find the right play, find the right guy that's open, bounce past dunk, or bounce past layup, or drive in, kick out for three. They got a player like that. That's that's a good point guard. Instead of like Curry, he throws the ball, runs off pick, tries to get open. Or if he gets the ball, then Clay's running off picks to try to get open. It's just to change the pace of the Warriors, and they're trying something different. And I like the unders, but I don't think it's going to work out much for the Warriors. I think they're going to get outscored. I think they're just going to have to do what they usually do. I think they're going to have to make more threes than people, just outshoot them. I don't think the change of the pace is really going to help them this year.
All right, there we go. Here with James here, the Lakers lay the 2.5 here against the Warriors to have a start time here of 10 p.m. Eastern time. ESPN2 with the coverage. All right, James, let's take a look over at Pick Dogs Print for tonight's action. As you know, we got on the board tonight. We got a couple here, 3 here from college football, a few on the ice. We get baseball starting over the weekend. Big NFL and college football weekend as well. What do you have going on over at Pick Dogs Premium? Still on there, James.
I got I guess I froze or something. I'm sorry. I got a 3-pack going on, guys. 3 plays that I really like in the college football. The MLB playoffs have been rough on me. I was up to like 1,400. Now I'm down to 800. So MLB, I've been struggling at, but college football, I've been pretty decent at, and I look to go 3-0 today. 3 plays that I really love. So grab that, guys, and after we go 3-0, upgrade to 3-7 or 30 days, guys. And every time on the show I say this, we got the best cappers in the world, and we do by far. So team me up with any cappers. Just pay on the site or on the show. We'll put some money in your pockets.
That's right, guys. Get over with James Hawk over at Pick Dogs. Good start here. Good results here in baseball, showing results in college football, showing profit. Great time to get on board. Hey, guys, like the 3-day all sports pass. Get a lot of James Premium plays for 3 days. All the football, NFL, college football, as well as plays here from Major League Baseball as the postseason continues during the weekend. Use that promo code PICK at checkout. You'll save that 15% off. All right, James, as always, great having you on the show. Have yourself a great evening. We'll catch up with you again next week.
All right, Tony, what do you think about all the big hitters in an MLB get knocked out? The Braves, Dodgers, I mean, all these big studs that won 100 games this year get knocked out. Every team that had to rest got knocked out.
Yeah,
I mean, what do you think about that?
The Dodgers and Braves had a thing in common with a lot of injuries to their pitching staff, right? Wright out, Morton out here for Atlanta, and of course the Dodgers pitching staff. I mean, it was Kershaw, Lynn, and the Oklahoma City 66ers. That was the LA Dodgers. They had only one starter that was there since the start. I mean, they lost Bueller. They've lost, the Urias. They lost, Gonsolin. They lost, who's the redheaded kid? May. They lost May. It was just a year where they did not have their starting pitching other than Kershaw. And then of course you got Lance Lynn in the closeout. You're getting closed out. You got Lance Lynn up there. Nothing against him. It's just it's not the who you thought would be up there. You expect a Urias in that spot. You would expect a Bueller in that spot. You're just not getting. And also too, that wears on the players when you're out there realizing you see, God, look at our starting rotation. How the hell are we going to go deep in this postseason when we got minor league teams, guys that were in the minors to start the season?
That's true, and then you gotta give it to the Diamondbacks that stepped up, and you gotta give it to the Phillies. Their pitchers stepped up; they played good, and the Phillies looked like one of the teams to beat. And I swear, the Diamondbacks, man, they impressed me too. They look like a good team from top to bottom. Both teams have got good hit, and I think I like the Phillies myself. But
yeah.
I appreciate you having me on the show, Tony. I just wanted to ask you about that. All the big guys going down.
Yeah, the big guys going down. Again, they lack the pitching down the stretch, but then that hurts you when you go against the good teams. You can beat a lot of the bad teams. Also, too, what also helps some of these teams, you're playing less division teams. You're playing now more of the American or National League. So I think that helps these good teams now. You're playing less of these division opponents. And, of course, look how they got knocked out by division teams. So no one knows you better. And also, I will say this about baseball, right? You win 100 games, you lose 60, right? That's equivalent to a 10-6 NFL team, right? We see 10-6 teams exit postseason quite a bit. They don't go, it's 12-win teams. So we don't see those elite teams. We don't have those 120-win teams, those 130-win tees, 140-win teams. Like you said, when you compare it to the NFL, right? 14-2. We don't have nobody 140-20 in baseball.
No, we didn't. And everybody went was over the Braves. They thought, with the record they had, they thought they was going to sweep it all. But I think I like the Phillies myself to win it. But I'll see you on Monday, Tony. Like I said, I appreciate you having me on the show, and I'll see you Monday, buddy.
We'll see you Monday. James Stark here on The Drive Thru. Let's continue on here next. I think we got Jovan signed back then. We got some Friday college football coming from John. We'll bring him in right now. Catch him over at Pick Dogs Premium. We'll bring in Jovan set to roll here with some college football here on a Friday night, and then we'll get to Nick here with some NFL. Let's bring in Jovan right now. Jovan, what's happening?
Hey, what's going on, Tony? How are you, man?
Everything's going great. Looking forward to this weekend. A lot of football. We start off with a triple header tonight. This one, CBS Network, 8 Eastern time. Fresno State and Utah State going head-to-head. Fresno here laying 5.5. We see the total of 54.5.
Yeah, and Fresno, last time we saw them last week, they got knocked off from the ranks of the unbeaten by Wyoming Cowboys, and it was just one of those games where they got out physical. They got their ass kicked. All up and down the field, and I think you might have some residual effects in this one. Not saying that they're gonna lose outright, but they lost their quarterback, Mikey Keene, in that game, and looks like he's doubtful for this one. So that's a big ask. To have a backup start his first game, coming into another high altitude stadium in Utah State. So not saying Utah State is gonna out physical anybody because their defense ain't like that, but their offense, they're high flying. And ever since they got their ass kicked on the road against Air Force, they've been putting up a lot of points. So they came back from a big deficit one game. They fought tooth and nail against James Madison, won a 1 point contest against UConn, and did what they had to do. Had a 20-point win against Colorado State. So this is a back-to-back road environment for Fresno State, and I don't care how good their defense is. They can get ran up on in this type of spot. I think it's going to be a nip and tuck game. So, I'm on Utah State in this one.
All right, Jovan says go Utah State here, plus 5.5. It is back-to-back road games for Fresno State. It's also a short week. They're playing this year on Friday, so short weekend there. Yeah, Fife is a turnover machine. If you looked at his numbers, saw him play last year, he turned the ball over a lot. Legas back at quarterback, McCray, Hillstead, concussion, will probably likely not play, but he was the backup because they benched Legas because he was ineffective. But now on the second time as a starter after the first benching, we've seen him improve.
Yeah, absolutely. Pouring over the numbers, pretty decent. 65.5% in his last game against Colorado State. So hey, it's all systems go. And the one thing you're gonna get out of this kid, Legas, he's gonna sling it. That's just the bottom line. And they have a pretty good run game as well. So the offset, what Fresno State likes to do, because they like to stop the run. You know what I mean? So yeah, I kind of like the kid Legas. Truthfully, he did have some growing pains. He did get benched, but he does have a hell of an arm. So
yeah, we saw that when the LA Bowl against Oregon State, when he came off the bench and fired that long touchdown pass. He's got a rifle for an arm. Just got to make it accurate. And of course, you got the benching to teach you a lesson that you better not just you better be able to take care of the football, be more effective. Utah State plus 5.5 here against Fresno State. This one will start 8 p.m. Eastern time over on CBS Sports Network. All right, Jovan, let's take a look over at Pick Document for tonight's action. As we said, three on the board from college football, some hockey. We'll head into a huge football weekend. Great start in NFL. What do you have going over at the site?
Yeah, I only got one play going. One college football game that I particularly keyed in on. Check me out on that. Once you check me out on that and that cashes, check me out on the 3-day or 7-day or 30-day or yearly. You see the numbers on the NFL. Just this is what I do in the NFL. I see things a little bit differently as far as the NFL, and it works to my advantage. So got a lot of games going up on tomorrow. Probably gonna have at least 12, either 12, 13, or 14, somewhere around there. So check me out on that. And like I said, NFL, I'm probably gonna have anywhere from 5 to 8 plays in the NFL. You know what I mean? So check me out on that. And also check me out for match me with other one of the other handicappers for the 2-for-1 Capital Promotional. Can't go wrong there. And some of the other deals that we have at Pick Dogs and Sports Chats Place. Let's get it.
That's right, guys. Got to go with Jovan Burts over at Pick Dogs. We see great results at NFL. Great time to get the long-term pass. Remember, the 3-day pass will get you all of Jovan's plays for the weekend, covering all the football, NFL, college football for the weekend. And, of course, Pick is a promo code. Save that 15% off. Multi-capper promotion, even greater value there, right? Jovan, as always, great having the show. Continue that success. We'll catch up with you next week, but we can catch you as well on the weekend shows.
Absolutely. And per, usual, I'll be there tomorrow and Sunday. And then Monday back on here on the drive-thru.
That's right, guys. So catch up Jovan there on the weekends. Make sure you like, subscribe, set notifications so when Jovan's on, get those plays in real time, get the best numbers. All right, Jovan, have a great weekend. We'll catch up with you again next week.
Absolutely. Have a great night. Win. And see you on Monday.
We'll see you on Monday indeed. Jovan Burts here on the drive-thru. Let's continue on. My game is going to start here in about a few minutes here. So we'll go with my pick, and then we'll bring in Nick, who's got an NFL game. But let me just get my card up here real quick as this game starts in just a few minutes. College football here for tonight's action. I think we're ready to set here. And not this one. Let's go to the previous game here. Tulane, Memphis will be the one I'll be looking at here. I'm going to be on Memphis here, plus the 5 against Tulane. Impressive wins by Memphis against Navy and Boise State. They do have a 7-point loss on a neutral field here to Missouri. But the thing, again, you got Hennigan, and he's an experienced quarterback. This is an experienced team. Tigers, the efficient passing game. We saw the Green Wave's toughest opponents was Ole Miss, where they suffered a 17-point home defeat. And it's been a relatively easy schedule other than that. So we'll go Memphis here plus the 5 against Tulane. And I've got plays up there right now over at Pick Dogs. Remember, we got a best bet from the board from college football. So go ahead and let's get signed up. All right, let's continue on here on the drive-through. Let's go ahead and welcome in Nick Menken. Catch him over at Pick Dogs. Hope you're catching his video series here on Pick Dogs with those Nerfies and Yerfies. We still have baseball still to go. A couple, we got 3 series of World Series in these AL and NLCS. We'll bring him in right now from Phoenix, Arizona, where it's exciting times over there as we saw that Arizona get past the Dodgers. We'll see if they don't suffer the same fate as the Padres last year. Right after they beat the Dodgers, then they crash and burn in the next series. So we'll go ahead and let's see, where do we got Nick at? I got him. Where do we have him? We got to find him on this little screen here. Here we go. Here's Nick to go. Nick, what's happening?
Tony T, I told you before the show, and I'll tell you again, I'm hopping on this Diamondbacks bandwagon fan here. I'm out in Scottsdale. The city is absolutely excited for these D-backs, and I'm ready to go. I'm a D-backs fan now. We're not a Cubs fan. Unfortunately, they didn't make the playoffs, but we're ready to go with the D-backs.
Yeah, I got to get it right, man. It's Scottsdale, not Phoenix. There's a huge difference between Scottsdale and Phoenix, brother. Huge difference. So I better apologize for that. All right. If you're out that area, you know what I'm talking about. All right, here we go. On Sunday NFL, we got the Bears and the Vikings going head-to-head here. The Vikings will be road favorites 2.5. We see the total 43.5.
Yeah, we got a divisional matchup going on right now. We got the Minnesota Vikings and the Chicago Bears. Right now, both teams are currently 1-4. And like I said, they're in the NFC North Division. But let me tell you something. Kirk Cousins and Justin Fields, they get a lot of questions. Are they the right guys? But let me tell you, this offense, especially the Vikings and now the Chicago Bears, they put up points. Right now, the Vikings are currently 9th in the NFL in total points per game, while the Chicago Bears are 13th in points per game. Let's start off with the Minnesota Vikings. They just lost last week to the Kansas City Chiefs 27-20, and they are out their star receiver, Justin Jefferson, but I don't think that's going to stop this offense. Let's look at Kirk Cousins right now, what he has done. He's almost at 1,500 total yards. He's at 1,498 right now with 13 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. And let's not forget his guy that he goes to in his tight end, TJ Hawkinson. He has 13 receptions, 254 yards this season with 2 touchdowns. He's a playmaker, and he's very underrated for this Vikings team. This offense for this Vikings is currently second in passing yards with 281 yards per game. And let's roll into the Chicago Bears team. There's a lot of questions at the quarterback position. Can Justin Fields be the guy? And I believe so. I'm taking the emotional detachment out. The Chicago Bears are my team, but what I saw out of Justin Fields in primetime Thursday night football, you got to love it. The offensive line and what they did against this defensive line for this Washington Commanders team, they shut them down. Chicago Bears ended up winning last week's game 40-20 against that Washington Commanders team. The Bears in their last 2 weeks scored 68 points in their last 2 games in Justin Fields. He has 43 in yards right now with 11 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. And you can't forget about DJ Moore last week. He had a career game, 3 touchdowns, 230 yards. Absolutely phenomenal game. I think it's going to open up this Bears play action game with Cole Kmet. I think Cole Kmet's going to be a very, very impact player in this week's performance for the Chicago Bears. I think it's going to be an offensive game on both sides. I absolutely love the total and the over 43.5. We're going to bang that out. I think it's going to be an offensive game, especially even though they don't have Justin Jefferson in there. I still think Kirk Cousins will start slinging it. I'm going with the over in this game, 43.5, Tony.
All right, we got Nick here says Vikings and Bears over 43.5. Of course, Nick Menken from Chicago. That's his team. He follows there the Chicago Bears. Not so quite yet on the Cardinals, but he fits in the area, so he kind of keeps an eye on this team. One thing I'm checking on here is the weather, and here we are getting the fall, right? So in the Midwest, you know what it's like in the Midwest, right? You got to keep an eye on the wind. And there's a slight chance of precipitation. We will have about a 16-mile per hour wind from the north here at this game in Chicago. We'll see how that impacts it. Again, the Bears can, if needed, can run the football. But again, it comes down to the defense here for the Vikings. They have not been good. The Vikings could have had another touchdown if they would have flagged that pass interference there. We could have probably seen 27 put up last week.
Yeah, and a huge question coming in this game. They don't have Justin Jefferson, so how are the Vikings going to produce points without Jefferson? And I think TJ will be locked in with Kirk Cousins in that play action game for this Minnesota team. Yeah, the field conditions might not be the greatest, but there's no excuse for the Chicago Bears. You've seen them in the prior 2 weeks. They put up points. I think they're going to continue this momentum on the offensive side of things, and they're going to score points here in Soldier Field.
Yeah, on the line there, if we would have told you this a few weeks ago, that the Vikings were only going to be a 2.5-point favorite. So what's going on here? But no, we've seen these Bears start to resurge, show some improvement. Every team has a right to improve. You don't always want to bury these teams, but we are seeing this is the sharpest book in the world at 2.5. Many of the books across the land here showing 3, except the sharpest book in the world. So there is some movement. There is definitely some movement here. Here toward the Bears side when you look at the sharpest book. But again, that total there is what we're keeping an eye on here, 43.5. There says Nick here, as we've seen the resurgence here from the Bears to score some points. I see that Blackhawks jersey behind you. You got to like things.
Bernard, baby, we're excited in Chicago. Now I'm finally watching the Chicago Blackhawks here. Haven't been in the NHL yet so far this season. Still looking and seeing what it's like early on, but the Blackhawks, baby, a lot of excitement going around in Chicago, and I absolutely love it as a diehard Chicago fan.
Yeah, indeed. And of course, I mentioned to you about the Bulls. I know we had Wayne talking about the Bulls. There were some talks maybe they were going to move players here. How do you look at their season as we head into, we're just about a little more than a week away from the start of the season?
I mean, we got DeMar DeRozan. And you can't count this guy out. He's absolutely fantastic. You give him the ball in the fourth quarter, he absolutely is a playmaker. We'll see what the Bulls could do this season. I still think they need a big man down there, but you got Nikolai Vukovic. We'll see what he can do from the perimeter. Those two and DeMar DeRozan, they're playmakers in the pick and roll offense. So a lot of excitement for a Chicago fan, let me tell you. So we'll see what they could do in the season there, Tony.
Yeah, we'll see how it rolls. Of course, we cover a lot of NBA. We are Monday through Friday show, so a lot of NBA coverage here on our show. So looking forward to the start of it. Of course, NHL as well. Chicago look exciting here to start the season. Big dog prices coming through here. These Blackhawks to start the season, having a lot of sharp people there scratching their heads. Hey, what's going on here? What? Hey. And
they beat Pittsburgh first game. I love it.
Yeah,
I absolutely love it.
That was a nice big plus price there, indeed. So Nick here, Vikings Bears over 43.5. This one here will have a start time here, 1 p.m. Eastern time. All right, Nick, let's take a look over at Pick.com for tonight's action. We got football on the board tonight from college football, some hockey, of course, heading to a huge weekend of action. Baseball restarting with the playoffs as well as NFL college football. What do you have going on over at Pick.com Premium?
Yeah, just got one play today in college football. Hasn't started just yet. Starts in about an hour, so check that out. But we got a huge slate of games this weekend. We got obviously tomorrow in college football. Then Sunday we got NFL, and yes, the next round of MLB playoffs. So check that 3-day pass out. There's going to be at least 8 to 10 plays out on my slate that I'm eyeing up right now. Check that 3-day pass and also my lock of the day just for $20. Hop on that and let's keep cashing in.
Keep cashing in with Nick Menken over at Pick.com. You see the great results over the last 7 days. Get on board. You guys love that 3-day pass here on the weekends. 3 days of premium plays here. All the football. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. A lot of us have to get those plays in for Monday on Sunday, so you get a little bonus there action there when you get on board here with that 3-day pass. Remember the promo code PICK at checkout. You'll save that 15% off. You can also add multi-cappers with the multi-capper promotion, making it even a greater value there. All right, Nick, as always, great having the show. He that's success. We'll catch up with you next week, but we can always catch your video series here as we head in deep here in the postseason.
Yeah, we're almost coming to an end on the Nicky Nerfy show right now. I haven't posted a play in the last 2 days, but we got a play coming out for Sunday, the first game in the what is that? The Texas Rangers
and Astros, Verlander, and Montgomery, and on Sunday.
So we got that coming out for Sunday, and along with NFL player prop. I'll have the video coming out for Sunday as well. So look on that YouTube channel. We're coming out strong, and check out our cappers at Pick Dogs.
That's right, guys. Catch them up over at Pick Dogs Premium. Get on board with Nick here. I'm just trying to see if I see anything here because now that we have Nick on and we don't have games, his game starting a little later here. I will tell you here, they're still undecided yet in game one. Game one of the NLCS will be here on Monday, Arizona and Philadelphia. This one will be an 8 Eastern start time. And any thoughts there in game one? I haven't seen any problem. You got to think Gallen will be on the hill. Who do you see here for Philadelphia? Will be their starter.
My guess is going with Wheeler. I mean, Wheeler is a completely different pitcher in this postseason. He's more of a veteran guy. Gallen's going to be on the bump for this Arizona Diamondbacks team. He is having a Cy Young caliber type of season. It's going to be a rubber match, that's for sure. We'll see what these offenses can do. The Philadelphia Phillies, especially at home, produce runs early on in ball games. And then this Arizona Diamondbacks team, they look like a completely new team in producing runs early on. It's going to be an absolute exciting matchup. Gallen and Wheeler, game one. I'm ready for it. And I might go to the game when the Diamondbacks get out here at Chase Field on Thursday. So I'm all jacked up for that. And I'm riding the Diamondbacks, baby. So let's go D-backs.
Yeah, riding D-backs. I'm sure they're going to burn Gallen and Kelly in Philadelphia. So we're going to look at that back end here. We're going to have to stomach through Fad, Nelson, Davies. But again, the bullpen has been really, we said this in September and not a whole lot of people was paying attention in September, but really got the Diamondbacks into the postseason, really was the play of that bullpen down the stretch. And now in the playoffs, we see it.
Exactly. And Nicholas Castellanos said it yesterday in his post-game interview after 2 home runs in that game. He goes, the playoffs is a completely different atmosphere. Players that, got ice in their veins, that are going to come up, they're going to show out. And, there's a room for no mistakes now. So this bullpen's got to be absolutely solid, especially against the offensive side for this Philadelphia Phillies team. You see Castellanos, you see Turner, and then you see Shorburn, Harper starting to figure it out. Later on in the season, it's absolutely going to be something to look forward to, and I can't wait till these series start.
Okay, we got lines just posted. But funnily, as we speak, they just posted a game one line here. Philadelphia is going to be minus 162 here. You'd expect to take back on Arizona about plus 140, 145. It's a total 7.5.
Hey, Gallen's done me great all season long, and if Gallen's on the bump, I got to stay true to it. I'm taking the D-backs, baby. Let's ride.
That's right, indeed. There you go from Nick Menken, a Cub fan in Arizona, but now is definitely in tune with this Diamondbacks. He goes to the games out there. I remember when you said, "I'm going to go." I guess you had to miss a show. I'm going to go to Arizona. I'm going to go see the game to root my Cubs against the D-backs.
I did, and they let me down. I bet them big too, and they let me down, Tony. I wasn't happy about it, but now I'm a D-backs fan.
D-backs
fan.
Let's ride the backs. Let's ride with the D-backs. And of course, you got to go see the games out there in Arizona. And hopefully there won't be too many Philly fans, because I know there were a lot of Dodger fans that were out there. They go out there. Yeah, you know how it was over there. It'll be that's how it is out here. All right, Nick, have a great weekend. We'll catch up with you again next week.
All right, Tony T. Always appreciate coming on the show, and thanks for everything you do.
You as well. Nick Menken here on the drive to. Let's continue. Got my pick, guys. The game's underway, so let's get to the recap, and then we'll let you guys roll for the weekend. Of course, big weekend of games coming up here from NFL, college football, the playoffs here from Major League Baseball, hockey, NBA. So about 10 days away. You see the countdown clock on NBA. It's 11 days and 21 minutes away from the start of the NBA. All right, let's get to the recap. Let's go here. Of course, you got my pick here that started already. So that one has started. Let's just get to the recap. We already went over that game. Jay on Texas A&M +3 against Tennessee. Brad was on Cal and Utah under 44. Jovan liked Utah State plus the 5.5 against Fresno State. Brian on Stanford plus 12.5 against Colorado. James, preseason NBA tonight. Lakers laying 2.5 against Warriors. That one is on ESPN 2 tonight, late game. Nick on Vikings Bears over 43.5. I'm on Memphis plus the 5 here against Tulane. The one I like the most, let's go with Jovan with the Utah State Legos. We'll believe in Legos here at plus 5.5 here against Fresno State. Getting a lot of folks chiming in here in the chat room. Desert Dogs says Lando 86. Yeah, Theo Green, we're not worried about the weather in that Bears game. That's a good question there. I don't know what to say right now on a Friday, but 16-mile-an-hour winds. We'll see how that plays into things there. Again, that's 38% precipitation chance, 52 degrees forecasted there. So shout out there to Paco Tents over there. Yeah, it was a bad beat with West Virginia. Don Shane in there, Abdullah in there as well. Better Digit Footprint. Shout out to you as well. Lots of folks in there in the chat room tonight. Of course, Nicholas Handy, Ramon in there. Utah. We got Blake. Shout out to you as well. Mo Harris as well in the chat today. And Christian Wynette's in the chat with us today. So appreciate everybody's contributions in the chat. And of course, remember, that'll do it for this edition of the Drive-Thru. We'll be back again here on Monday, live at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll do it all over again. We'll bring our cappers from Big Dogs and Sports Chat Place. They'll go up their place for you in real time. Remember, to always get started with that morning show. Now, on the weekend, we started early, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Jay here hosting the show with lots of the cappers you see here on this show. Many from Pick Dogs will be on that airway. That's why we have to keep moving up. We have to keep moving up the start time because there's more and more cappers that are on that show. So 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Of course, for the weekends, of course, lots of video series here. We got Mitch here with the morning show. Of course, Mitch, you can catch him with the video series, 7 Picks in 5 Minutes. The Betting Tools Show. Of course, he's got the Roundtable Professional Discussion. We got the Public Betting Against the Spread here from Dana Lane, Nick Menken, Nerfies, Yerfies here from baseball. Of course, we got Rod with his hockey video series, as well as we got Chris with his around the we got also, and we got to remember the name of that, right? He's got his NHL series. We just started it, so I got to get these names down, right? But what someone in the chat room remind me what it is. Behind this net, something in that nature. I'll remember it. But anyway, make sure you check it out. Chris with his NHL video series. We also Romanelli with his MLB college football series. Jay with his NFL rundown up there on the live shows. Remember the halftime shows during NFL with them as well. So Mike Davis with the Monday, Wednesday, Friday live shows. First 5 inning picks here from him as well. So you guys want to tune into that. Of course, we had Brad here with his parlay video of the day. So make sure you check all these videos out here, guys. All these video series. Make sure you like, subscribe, set notifications. So when they drop, you get them in real time to get the best numbers. All right, it's the wraparound. The wraparound to give it Ramon with Chris Ruffalo. Wrap around his NHL video series. All right, that's going to do it for the show today. Let's go ahead and bring in our crew from tonight. Going to wave goodbye to guys. You guys have a great afternoon, evening.